So pretty much every time people ask when they should start doing Wisconsin method or just Bulgarian in general, I always say, well, first you need to have a good base. And pretty much everyone asks, what is a good base? A lot of people seem to think it means you're hitting certain weights, like you have a 405 squat or deadlift or something like that, and it's not really that at all. It's more, well, it's a multitude of things really. So a lot of it comes with what your experience in moving really is. Do you have a sports background? Have you been in the gym a long time? Those are things that are part of or contribute to having a base. When I train clients, newcomers who've never touched weights in their lives before, what I do is there's a hierarchy of movements, and I make sure they're proficient at one before moving on to the other. So for example, with squats, the first thing I make sure they're proficient with goblet squats. Kettlebell here, squatting. I make sure they can do that properly first and have full control of the movement, no doubt about it in their mind, it comes natural to them. And that might take 2 seconds for some people, it might take weeks for others, just depends where they're at, how their body control is. And then from there, I go to front squats. I make sure they're proficient in front squats. Everything should be perfect, no doubt about it, hitting decent weights, and then we move on to back squats. Part of that is building comfort with movements. It's easier to get deep in a goblet squat and front squat, but it's also building that base, being able to move in slightly different ways and being proficient in with these differences. With pressing, for example, I usually start people with some kind of overhead press, usually which is a barbell, and make sure they're proficient at that before moving on to bench pressing, for example. It's not super complicated. Is it the fastest way to get to a 405 squat? Maybe not, but is it the best way? In my opinion, yes. It'll get people, it'll reduce the likelihood of them stalling early, things like that. Longevity is going to be way better with lifting. You're going to fall into a lot less issues. A lot of people just start right off the bat with back squats, run into issues pretty quickly. It might be a weak lower back, bad at bracing, etc., etc. But so yeah, it's not just about chasing numbers; it's about being proficient in different movements. I have an old client of mine. When he came into me, he was able to squat 365, and he'd been running starting strength for 3.5 years or something. So you got to a 365 squat like that, which some people say, oh, you're an intermediate lifter, I guess, for his size. But he was not able to do a body weight Bulgarian split squat. And that shows me that A, there's some dysfunction, B, there's a lack of a base there. Basically what he'd done, he built a pyramid fucking upside down. That's not a way you want to build a pyramid, obviously, it totters over easily. So yeah, having a base isn't just purely numbers thing. That says something. If you're able to squat 405, 500, you probably have a decent base, but it's not the end all be all. If you like that guy, you can't do a body weight Bulgarian split squat, something's fucked up and you don't have a good base, and you should not be running the Wisconsin method. Some guy on my channel earlier, I don't mean to call anyone out, but he started doing Zercher deadlifts, the full Zercher deadlift, like one movement up. I think he did like 120 pounds or something like that, I don't know, but the fact that you can only do that much, that's your starting weight, shows me you don't have a good base. I believe his squat was less than that, and that shows me he doesn't have a good base. So for that person, I told him not to run the Wisconsin method. I have a very good base. I played sports my entire life. I've been lifting a long time. I've been lifting different styles a long time, and that's why I'm able to succeed lifting the way I do. It's not for beginners. I know doing some of these weird lifts is fun and stuff, and you can still mix them in, but it's not stuff you should be maxing out every day in if you don't know what the hell you're doing, basically. Something I see of people who actually have good bases is that the first time they do a movement, even if they've never done it before, they're hitting pretty good numbers. That shows me that they have a good base. If you've never done a weighted lunge before, like a really heavy one, but you're still able to hit like 315 pounds or something on your first try, that shows me you have a good base because your body can function properly in these movements even though it's not used to it. Yeah, that's just my 2 cents. People rush to hitting big weights way too fast. I think starting strength is to blame for a lot of it, and a lot of coaches like 5 years ago were got to get those beginner gains and get the beginner gains as fast as you can so you don't waste them. That's not how the body works. You don't need to rush to hitting big numbers necessarily. Get good at a bunch of movements. With my clients, again, a lot of them, what we do, we focus on 3 or 4 movements like big movements, like a squat, deadlift, bench, overhead press, whatever. But then we rotate through accessories a lot. We'll do like 2 or 3 weeks in a row of the same accessories, and we rotate. So, for example, we'll deadlift and do a bunch of back extensions. 3 weeks later, we'll deadlift and do a bunch of ball gain split squats. Then we'll deadlift and do whatever the fuck it is, bent over rows. So they get good at a multitude of movements. That, in my opinion, especially for beginners, is the way you should go about things. Sticking to just one program that's having you do the same big lifts and doing the same accessories over and over and over again, you're not going to build much of a base ever, or it'll take a lot longer at least. So, yeah, I'm just kind of rambling. I got like a half hour free at work, so fuck, might as well make a video. Let me know what you think. If you have any questions about building a base, ask me. I think I'm going to try to be as straightforward as I possibly can. Again, beginners should not be doing Wisconsin method. Build a base. That's it. Get good at a bunch of shit. That means you have a base. So, thanks for tuning in, guys. I always appreciate it. So. Thank you.